Hey, Cowboys Nation, let's break down everything happening with Dallas right now because honestly, it's been a wild ride and there's a lot to unpack. Over the past few weeks, the Cowboys have made moves that caught a lot of fans by surprise, especially when you consider how conservative this organization usually is when it comes to trades. Seeing them shake things up like this is kind of refreshing, even if it doesn't solve every problem instantly. It's clear that the front office is thinking not just about the immediate future, but also about building a team that can compete for years to come. That means shoring up the defense, making smart acquisitions, and keeping an eye on how contracts, draft picks, and free agency can all work together to improve the roster. One of the biggest talking points has been the addition of Quinn Williams and how that impacts the defensive front. The Cowboys have historically relied heavily on their stars to carry the weight, but as we've seen this season, one or two standout players aren't enough. The front seven has to set the tone for the rest of the defense. And adding depth there is crucial. The secondary success often depends on how well the line can disrupt the opposing offense. And right now, the Cowboys are trying to strike that balance. Even with these moves, it's clear that the team will need more help, particularly in the secondary, which is something that will likely carry into the off-season. Off the field, the culture and morale of the team are also a major factor. Fans and insiders alike have been vocal about the need for consistency, both in coaching and on the field. When you look at the plays, penalties, and decision-making during games, it's apparent that even small mistakes can snowball into major issues. Red zone efficiency, third down conversions, and tackling fundamentals have all been areas where the team has struggled. These aren't just statistical concerns. They're tangible aspects of the game that affect how competitive the Cowboys are each week. And while some of the blame naturally falls on players, coaching strategy plays a big part as well. Decisions about when to run, when to pass, and how to sequence plays can completely change the flow of a game. And this season has shown just how critical those choices are. Another angle that's been generating discussion is the uncertainty surrounding certain key players. Trayvon Diggs, for example, has been a hot topic. There's a real possibility that he may not play another down for Dallas, which would leave a significant hole in the secondary. The ripple effects of that decision are huge because his presence or absence affects how other players line up, how schemes are executed, and even how the front office approaches future acquisitions. It's not just about replacing a player. It's about how the entire defensive strategy shifts. On top of that, the Cowboys have been navigating injuries and roster moves carefully, try to get as many players back from IR as possible while also integrating the new additions. Each move requires balancing immediate needs with long-term planning, and that's never easy in a league as competitive as the NFL. Meanwhile, the offense has had its own set of challenges. Dak Prescott has shown flashes of brilliance, but the team's struggles often come down to consistency and execution. The run game, for instance, has not always been prioritized effectively in key situations, particularly inside the red zone. Decisions about when to hand the ball off versus when to throw are crucial, and timing is everything. Drop passes, fumbles, and misreads have all compounded these issues, creating moments of frustration for fans and coaches alike. Even so, Prescott's leadership and ability to read defenses remain critical for keeping the offense moving and making the plays that matter most. The Cowboys' offense is capable of explosive moments, but those moments have to be complemented by discipline and strategy across the board to truly compete with the league's best teams. Part of the broader picture also involves evaluating how the team is built. The Cowboys have had to weigh cost versus value in every acquisition, looking at potential targets in free agency or trade options. The front office is constantly calculating whether a move makes sense financially and strategically. Paying for high-quality players up front isn't always easy, and sometimes compromises are necessary. This year, the Cowboys' choices reflect a focus on long-term competitiveness rather than short-term fixes, which is encouraging for fans who are thinking beyond the current season. Trades like the ones we've seen recently aren't just about filling gaps. They're about creating a foundation where the team can grow and sustain success in the coming years. The team schedule and remaining matchups also play a huge role in how we evaluate this season. With games coming up against divisional rivals, strong conference opponents, and the inevitable stretches where the schedule is brutal, every win and loss matters. Momentum is a huge factor in football, and the Cowboys know that even small lapses can dramatically change playoff scenarios. Winning streaks are important, but equally important is the way the team manages injuries, rotations, and the mental grind of an NFL season. Every snap, every adjustment, every subtle in-game decision carries weight, and the Cowboys' ability to handle these challenges will define the remainder of the season. And we can't ignore the fan perspective. Every trade, injury, or questionable play calls sparks conversation and debate. Supporters are scrutinizing everything from draft strategy to coaching philosophy. And that feedback loop has real impact. The Cowboys are one of the most visible franchises in the NFL, which means the pressure to succeed is constant. That visibility brings passion, but it also demands clarity in strategy and consistency in performance. Balancing the expectations of fans, the realities of the roster, and the competitive landscape of the league is a challenge of the front office and coaching staff have to navigate every single day. Overall, what we're seeing with Dallas is a team at a crossroads. They're making moves, taking calculated risks, and trying to address weaknesses while planning for sustained success. The blend of new acquisitions, strategic decisions, and developmental focus shows a franchise that is not just reacting to the present, but thinking about the future. There are still questions to be answered, from defensive cohesion to offensive execution, and from the fate of star players to how injuries are managed. But what's clear is that the Cowboys are positioning themselves to be competitive, in a meaningful way, and the coming weeks will reveal how those decisions translate on the field. Now, let's talk about the defensive side a bit more because that's where the Cowboys' season has been defined in so many ways. The additions to the line, particularly with players like Quinn Williams, are designed to give the team more flexibility and to create pressure on opposing quarterbacks. The reality is the defense cannot rely on one or two standout performers to carry the load anymore. The league is too dynamic. Offenses are too creative. And if the front seven isn't consistent, the secondary is going to get exposed. It's not just about talent on paper. It's about cohesion, communication, and being able to execute schemes under pressure. And that's where we've seen some inconsistencies this year. Fans have pointed out quite rightly that the Cowboys still struggle to stop the run at times. And while the recent acquisitions are meant to help, the challenge remains in creating a unit that's reliable down after down. Defensive rotations, personnel decisions, and play calling are all part of this puzzle. The team needs to anticipate the opponent's tendencies and adjust quickly. And any lapse can result in big plays that swing momentum. It's a fine balance, and the coaching staff has to get it right consistently. The Cowboys are aware of these issues, which is why they've been careful about roster moves, trying to add depth without creating new holes elsewhere. One of the bigger questions revolves around how snaps will be divided among key defensive players moving forward. Clark, Williams, and OSA represent talent that can change the trajectory of a game, but managing playing time, matchups, and rotational strategies is crucial. A player coming back from injury, like Marvin Overshawn, may have the skills, but not the timing or conditioning yet, and integrating them properly is a process. The coaching staff has to balance the desire to win now with the need to build chemistry and sustain energy across a grueling season. Every adjustment, every snap allocation, and every situational call can impact the team's effectiveness on the field. Looking at the bigger picture, some fans have asked why the Cowboys didn't pursue players like Sauce Gardner. The answer often comes down to cost versus value. 2 first-round picks for a single position player, even one as talented as Gardner, can be a heavy price, especially for a team that's trying to manage contracts and maintain flexibility. There are always trade-offs, and the Cowboys seem to be focused on moves that can provide long-term impact rather than short-term flash. It's a strategic approach, one that emphasizes building a roster capable of sustained success rather than chasing headline-grabbing transactions. On the offensive side, the Cowboys are still trying to find consistency in key situations, especially in the red zone. Dak Prescott has shown the ability to read defenses and make critical throws, but execution and timing are often the difference between a touchdown and a stalled drive. The run-pass balance has been inconsistent, and there have been moments where a better sequencing of plays could have led to points. Drops, fumbles, and misreads compound these problems, and they highlight the need for precise coordination between the quarterback, offensive line, and skilled players. In football, the margins are razor thin, and small lapses can turn promising drives into lost opportunities. In addition to execution, injuries continue to shape the team's strategies. Getting players back from IR while integrating new acquisitions is a juggling act. Each move has ripple effects, forcing the team to make tough decisions about cuts, rotations, and snap allocations. The front office and coaching staff have to anticipate not only the immediate impact of each player returning, but also how it affects depth, stamina, and game planning across multiple weeks. This complexity is part of what makes football management so challenging, and the Cowboys are navigating it with a combination of foresight and calculated risk. The mental side of the game cannot be overlooked either. Football is as much about focus, confidence, and resilience as it is about physical skill. Players have to adapt to new teammates, adjust to evolving schemes, and perform under the scrutiny of a demanding fan base. Every game carries emotional weight, especially in a season where playoff implications are significant. The Cowboys know that momentum, morale, and leadership on the field are just as important as the X's and O's. Winning consecutive games isn't just about talent. It's about mental toughness, preparation, and the ability to execute under pressure. Looking ahead, the schedule presents a gauntlet of challenges. Divisional matchups, high-powered offenses, and short turnaround times test the Cowboys' depth and adaptability. Winning streaks are essential for building playoff positioning, but even more critical is maintaining a level of consistency where mistakes are minimized. The team's ability to respond to adversity, whether injuries, turnovers, or tough opponents, will define how far they can go this season. Every decision, from play calling to personnel management, will be magnified in these high-stakes situations. Ultimately, the Cowboys are in a phase of recalibration. They're addressing weaknesses, experimenting with solutions, and laying groundwork for sustained success. The defense is getting stronger, the offense is being refined, and the roster is being managed with both short-term performance and long-term stability in mind. The remaining games will test the depth, resilience, and adaptability of the team. And every snap, every adjustment, and every decision will be critical. What's clear is that the Cowboys are focused on building a competitive, cohesive unit, and the coming weeks will reveal whether these strategic moves pay off on the field. The story of this season is still being written, but the direction seems intentional, calculated, and aimed at restoring the team to a level where they can consistently contend in a challenging NFC East and beyond. But before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Dallas Cowboys. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. The NFL rumor mill has kicked into overdrive once again, and this time all eyes are on Dallas. According to reports from ESPN, the Cowboys have reached an agreement with free agent safety Justin Simmons. A move that's sending shockwaves across the league. While details of the contract have yet to be disclosed, sources close to the situation suggest the deal was finalized quietly after weeks of behind-the-scenes negotiations. If confirmed, this signing could be one of the most significant defensive acquisitions for Dallas in recent memory. Simmons, a two-time All-Pro and one of the most respected safeties in the league, brings not only elite ball skills, but also the kind of leadership presence the Cowboys have been searching for in their secondary. His departure from Denver left fans puzzled, but it seems the Cowboys wasted no time making their pitch. Inside the Star, whispers began circulating days ago that something big was brewing. Team officials reportedly cleared cap space earlier this month, fueling speculation that a major defensive signing was on the horizon. Now, it appears the rumors were true. Cowboys insiders say the coaching staff has long admired Simmons' versatility and intelligence, viewing him as the perfect fit for Dan Quinn's defensive system or perhaps the continuation of that philosophy under Mike Zimmer. Fans, of course, are buzzing. Social media lit up within minutes of the news breaking with reactions ranging from stunned disbelief to outright celebration. "This is exactly what we needed," wrote one Cowboys fan on X. Others are already imagining Simmons patrolling deep alongside Trayvon Diggs, creating a fearsome tandem in the back end of Dallas's defense. While the Cowboys front office remains tight-lipped, the timing of this move couldn't be more intriguing. The franchise has been criticized in recent years for playing it safe in free agency, preferring to rely on homegrown talent rather than splashy signings. Bringing in Simmons signals a shift in that philosophy, a win-now mindset that could reshape the tone of the upcoming season. Of course, as with any blockbuster rumor, nothing is official until pen meets paper. But if ESPN's report holds true, the Cowboys may have just made the kind of move that turns contenders into champions. For now, though, the league waits and Dallas, as always, remains the center of the storm. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Dallas Cowboys, please subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. We always look forward to your comments and opinions. See you in the next